The House will now come to order. I still don't hear myself.
Is it? Sang it again.
Okay. Is it on now? Yeah, okay. What's that?
What's the volume?
Well, no, they heard it. Oh, yeah, I think so. Okay, everybody, the House will now come to order, please. Can't hear? Can't hear? Okay. You can hear it? Okay.
They're saying it's just too loud to hear you.
Yeah. I know we're all having fun, but the House will now come to order. I know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The House is now coming to order. We're almost there. There we go. Thank you very much. Everyone, please proceed to where you're going to be sitting for the next 4 hours, and we'll get started. So guests, please clear the aisles, and everyone proceed to their seats. In accordance with Article 7, Section 2 of our Constitution, which provides that the senior member of Newport preside in the organization of the House, it is my pleasure to take the rostrum. The first order of business is to adjourn this session of June 23rd, 2022. Hearing no objections, the session of June 23, 2022 is adjourned. At this time, I would ask for the approval of the Journal of June 23, 2022. Hearing no objections, the House Journal of June 23, 2022 is approved. At this time, it is my pleasure to invite Rabbi Sarah Mack of Temple Bethel in Providence to deliver the opening prayer.
Eternal God, at this moment of hope and inspiration, we pray for our representatives who serve our great state with selfless devotion and whose noble deeds and sacrifice benefit the wonderful state of Rhode Island. We are ever grateful for these women and men of inspiration and insight who build our communities with wisdom, stewards dedicated to justice, unafraid to face the challenges of our day. Bless these leaders with the fortitude and with the imagination to solve the complex issues of our times. Eternal One, may they govern with courage and conscience, upholding our state's highest values and aspirations. Teach them your ways that they may administer affairs fairly, that peace and security, hope and prosperity may abide in our midst. May they speak against hatred in all its forms and lead us to a time when liberty and equality reign supreme and prejudice is no more. Let each one of us be an advocate for justice, an activist for liberty, and defenders of dignity. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those in need. Help us to hear the silent tears of those who suffer and bless those who accompany the lonely and feed the hungry. We pray on this day that the state of Rhode Island be an influence for good for all who dwell here, and that the words of the prophet shall be fulfilled, and light shall shine in the darkness. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Mack, on behalf of our members and our invited guests for that inspirational invocation. At this time, I call upon Representative-elect Cherie Cruz to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Representative. The flag is such an important symbol of our collective values and freedom, perseverance, and hope. I now call upon Olivia Picard of Burrville, a sophomore at Ponaganset High School, to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Please take your seats. That was an inspirational and unbelievable great rendition of that song. Thank you, Olivia, for such a beautiful job. Okay. Clerk McCabe, do we have communication from the Secretary of State?
Yes, we do, Speaker Abney.
Please read.
January 3rd, 2003, to the Honorable House of Representatives, I, Greg M. Amori, Secretary of State, hereby certify the following list of members elected to the House of Representatives in the General Assembly. In accordance with the certificate of election filed in this office by the Board of Elections on the 22nd day of November, 2022, as provided by sections 22-3-13 of the General Laws of 1956. Edith H. Agello, Christopher R. Blazewski, Nathan W. Biar, Rebecca M. Kislak, Anthony J. DeSimone, Raymond A. Hull, David Morales, John J. Lombardi, Enrica G. Sanchez, Scott A. Slater, Grace Diaz, Jose F. Batista, Ramon A. Perez, Charlene Lima, Barbara Ann Fenton Fung, Brandon C. Potter, Jacqueline M. Baginski, Arthur Handy, Joseph McNamara, David A. Bennett, Camille F. Vella Wilkinson, Joseph J. Solomon Jr., K. Joseph Shekarchi, Evan Patrick Shanley, Thomas E. Norre, Patricia L. Morgan, Patricia A. Serpa, George A. Nardone, Sherry L. Roberts, Justine A. Caldwell, Julie A. Casimiro, Robert E. Craven Sr., Carol Hagan McEntee, Teresa A. Tanzi, Kathleen A. Fogarty, Tina L. Spears, Samuel A. Azanaro, Brian Patrick Kennedy, Megan L. Carter, Michael W. Chippendale, Robert J. Quattrochi, Edward T. Cardillo Jr., Deborah A. Filella, Gregory J. Cosentino, Mia A. Ackerman, Mary Ann Shawcross Smith, David J. Place, Brian C. Newberry, John D. Brian, Stephen M. Casey, Robert D. Phillips, Alex D. Mazalkowski, Brian J. Rea, William W. O'Brien, Arthur J. Covesi, Joshua J. Giraldo, Brandon T. Voas, Cherie L. Cruz, Jennifer A. Stewart, Karen Elzate, Leonella Felix, Mary Duffy Messier, Catherine S. Kazarian, Brianna E. Henrys, Matthew S. Dawson, Jennifer Smith Boylan, Jason P. Knight, June S. Speakman, Susan A. Donovan, John G. Edwards IV, Michelle E. McGaw, Terry Denise Quadriand, Marvin L. Abney, and Alex S. Finkelman. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the state of Rhode Island on this 3rd day of January, AD 2023, Greg M. Amori, Secretary of State.
Clerk McCabe, please call the roll aloud. All members who are present respond by saying present.
Representative Abney.
Present.
Representative Ackerman. Representative Agello. Representative Alzate. Representative Azanaro. Representative Baginski. Representative Batista. Representative Bennett. Representative Bia. Representative Blazewski. Representative Boylan. Representative Brian. Representative Caldwell. Representative Cardillo. Representative Carson. Representative Casey. Representative Casimiro. Representative Chippendale. Representative Cortriand. Representative Covesi. Representative Cosentino. Representative Carter. Representative Craven. Representative Cruz. Representative Dawson. Representative DeSimone. Representative Diaz. Representative Donovan. Representative Edwards. Representative Felix. Representative Filella. Representative Fenton Fung. Representative Finkelman. Representative Fogarty. Representative Giraldo. Representative Handy. Representative Henrys. Representative Hull. Representative Kazarian. Representative Kennedy. Representative Kislak. Representative Knight. Representative Lima. Representative Lombardi. Representative Masalkowski. Representative McEntee. Representative McGaw. Representative McNamara. Representative Messier. Representative Morales. Representative Morgan. Representative Nardone. Representative Newberry. Representative Norey. Representative O'Brien. Representative Perez. Representative Phillips. Representative Place. Representative Potter. Representative Quattrochi. Representative Rea. Representative Roberts. Representative Sanchez. Representative Serpa. Representative Shawcross Smith. Representative Shanley. Representative Shekarchi. Representative Slater. Representative Solomon. Representative Speakman. Representative Spears. Representative Stewart. Representative Tansey. Representative Vella Wilkinson, and Representative Voas. We have a quorum.
Thank you, and we do have a quorum. I would like now to invite the Honorable Secretary of State, Greg Amore, to the rostrum, please.
Let's open the ceiling.
Yeah, you got it, man. Good job, good job.
Thank you.
We'll have you stand up in a couple of minutes. Thank you very much. Happy New Year to everyone. I came into the chamber, I went to sit in my seat, and Matt Dawson was sitting there. It threw me off. Congratulations to everyone. I'd ask you to stand now, please. Raise your right hand. You being chosen to the place of representative in the General Assembly, hereby solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office according to the best of my abilities, and that I will support the Constitution and the laws of this state and the Constitution of the United States. So help me God. I do. Congratulations. Best wishes for a great session. Thank you.
At the beginning of our session, I noted that our Rhode Island Constitution gives the senior member of the House from Newport the honor and privilege of presiding over the organization of the House. I would take this opportunity to offer my own remarks. First, I note that we have a lot of dignitaries that are here today, and I believe that whoever ends up being the Speaker of the House will have the honor of announcing each one by name, so I'll leave it up to him or her until we get that done. But I do want to say that we have our national representatives here. We have people from the executive branch, general officers, the judicial branch, the legislative branch, attending guests, families, and friends. As I start, and it's not going to be a long speech, because it's not a policy speech, but it is a speech to help us to get to know each other as now forming a new 75-member family. When I first did this, Rep. Kazarian was the youngest person in the House at that particular time. Now, I'm not sure that she still holds that honor now, but the youngest member knew that for about 10 to 15 minutes, as whoever does this, have got a little bit of the power of the Speaker, not a lot, but she wanted this special parking place. But I think you have it now without being the youngest member, but whoever the youngest member is, you got about another 12 minutes to get to me before the new Speaker takes over, and I can probably do you that one favor. I remember of that same class, we were in the same class, Rep. Casey was voted the best dancer. So you see, there are people in this chamber who not only do they, craft legislation, but we have a good time too. And for some reason, my wife, Cheryl, who may be watching now, loves Rep. Lima. And I'm not sure why that is, except that I think she thought that you were singing some Temptation songs at one of our parties. She always tells me about that. And I think what we're going to bring back is when I was a freshman, we had the legislative jump. All you new members know that to really be a rep, you got to jump out of an airplane. You got to free fall. And almost all have done that. I see a lot of heads going back and forth. But it's amazing when you can see Boston, you can see Springfield, Mass, 2 miles up, you jump out, and then you land back in Rhode Island. So we might try and reinvigorate that. And I can't believe it, but if there was one person in my class that introduced a large number of bills, it was then Chairman Shekarchi. He introduced 30 or 40 bills a day. I do remember that, so I can understand why he's such a politician and understand the issues. But most of all, those of you and those of us who've just taken that oath have agreed that we are going to be public servants in this state or in this country. And that's important. You are on the front lines of our institutional societies that we have here. And you would be shocked at the different kinds of people, the 75 of us, that are there. I don't see a Rep. Casey, but here's a guy that puts out fires on Christmas Eve. We have police officers. We have nurses. We have people who do all kinds of things. And those are the kind of individuals that for the next 6 months, we will get to know each other fairly intimately. And I think that that's important. Also, I asked my mate, who was Peter Martin at the time, what do you say when you just have a chance to make a few remarks? He said, well, say a little bit of something about yourself, but also say some things that makes a difference or will help make a difference when you have individuals who are trying to become a family. We come from so many different places. I am not from Rhode Island. I am from Texas. But here I am standing doing what I've been blessed to be able to do. My arrival in Rhode Island was, I think the first time was in 1978 when I came here with my wife, Cheryl. I was living in New Haven, Connecticut. I was in the military. And I came across those two bridges, Jamestown at that time, and then the Newport Bridge, and thought, what a wonderful place to be, never thinking that I would be living here. So I'm an example of somebody who's come from the outside of the state, but who understands how unbelievably privileged you will be as I will be to serve. My family, I think, is a traditional family in Rhode Island. I think so. I have a 100% full-blooded Cape Verdean wife. I've got two, yeah, he's going. I've got two sons, half African-American, half Cape Verdean, and I have a daughter who is half African-American, half Puerto Rican. Between them, we've got kids who are Irish, Portuguese. I've got 5 beautiful granddaughters. Have not been able to do the grandson thing yet. But that's what Rhode Island is about. It's about all of the cultures that I'm talking about and even more. I had no idea that I would be spending the rest of my life here in this state, but it did happen that way. In fact, both of my sons were born at the Naval Hospital when they had a hospital there. My first son, I was on my way to Korea to serve my first tour overseas, and he was born. The Army gave me 14 days to get used to him. And if you've served this country, you understand that. But in those, I didn't see him again until he was a year old. We have so many people in this state that do that. And it's important that you and I learn as much as we can about each other, because we go back to our 39 cities and towns, and sometimes we think we're unique. We're the only ones like this. I was raised in Texas during the height of segregation. I never could have been standing here doing something like that in my childhood. I was raised by a single mother. My father died 3 months before I was born. He died in the same bed that I was born in 3 months later, because we had a colored hospital and a normal hospital, and the normal hospital was full, so my mother was delivered in the bed that my father died in. The only thing I remember about him, my mother saved a pair of shoes. And you've heard people say, well, gee, I'd like to walk in my mother's shoes or my dad's shoes. That's the only thing I remember of my father, except the pictures that she kept. So what I'm saying is that it's what you make of yourselves and how you give back to your community. And that's what we're organizing to do. We're organized to make really tough decisions. We're organized to think through things and not just be only local. We spend a lot of our time trying to figure out what's happening to this country nationally. But at the same time, we have to understand that we are not all that much different. I think it must have been 6 or 7 years ago, I was, at the time I had a conversation with Leader Chippendale. I'm from Texas, and we were just talking about that part of the country, and somehow we got to talking about religion, and I believe that your father or something like that is a big religious person. He said, well, I've been to Shreveport, Louisiana. And I was thinking, who in the world would have, gone to Shreveport, Louisiana that I knew? So if I'm not mistaken, we built up a rapport at that point in time. Politically, we are very different on some things, but as a human being, we're not that much different. And that's where we have to get to. There's always a point in your life where you have to realize that you're not as different from others as you think you are. But I think the 75 of us will have something in common, and that is we're here to serve the public. You're going to know that immediately, those of you who are new, because when you start leaving here at 10, 11, 1 o'clock at night, doing the people's business, to go home, to have to get ready to go to work the next day, you will see what it's like. But you got to have self-confidence. You know, I've learned to accept things as they are and then try to make them better. And that's how we work here in the legislature. We look at not just our own little small pet projects, but we look at what is good for the whole. It is a representative democracy. That is what makes us so good. And I know, because I had people who helped me understand, to learn what I need to learn to be a good public servant here, I had to go outside of Rhode Island. So as a result, I've got involved in a bunch of national organizations that have to do with legislatures. And in 2 weeks, I'll be out of state because I co-chair a tax commission that Chairman Kennedy got me involved in, state and local taxation task force, to learn, to bring back to Rhode Island the things that we do. And I think that is what I'm just saying to you, is that you have an opportunity here, right now, to become part of something that's bigger than yourselves. And that's not an easy thing to do. But I'm proud to be associated with who we are and where we are today. And as I start to wind down, I have to tell you, my career, my life, I'm a soldier. That's what I learned to do for the biggest part of my life. As a result, I've been stationed overseas a lot. I've lived in quite a few countries, worked in a lot. And I understand what it's like to be different. But I understand what it's like when you find in that difference things that are the same, and you can have support before you know it. I would say this, particularly those of you who are new, we've got the best staff of people to support us in the country. I know. People ask us about our analysts, about the people who do everything for us. And when I'm talking about what happens here in Rhode Island, and you should know this, they all say, well, we don't have that, but you do here. And I think what I'm trying to say to you is that when times get tough, there are people that will support you. I've got one of the best support systems that there is in the country, and you do too. But you have to understand that to get to that point, we have to be looking in the same direction. Finally, I think in the last 6 or 7 years, we've done what we call prep the battlefield. We didn't know what the future was going to be like. We started back talking about taxes and all those things, and if you look at where we are, we have no broad-based taxes. We've provided tax relief for our retirees. And again, this is not a policy speech. This is what you've done because you've listened to people who said, you're there to represent us, even if you're different, but here are the broader things that we need. And I'm so proud to be a part of that, and I hope that you are so proud to be a part of that too. So I would say to you, take care of each other in your class that you came in with, but understand that there are going to be differences, but out of those differences will come the goodness and the greatness that this state has. And you, trust me, are on the front lines. Don't get freaked out when you read something in the papers on TV about you. Still work hard. That's our job. If you do that, we will have a successful season. So God bless all of you. You will work very hard, I guarantee you, but at the end of the day, Rhode Island will be proud that you've been elected. And so that is what my message is. As I say, it's not a policy speech, but it's to let you know you will have all the backup that you need. So thanks for listening to me for a few minutes. Okay. Right. See, we got all of the help that we need. Go to page 5, Marvin, and there we are. Okay. The next order of business is the election of the Speaker of the House. Are there any nominations? I recognize Representative Brian Kennedy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Presiding Officer. I rise today to nominate Representative K. Joseph Shekarchi of Warwick to the constitutional position of Speaker of the Rhode Island House of Representatives for the legislative term of 2023 and 2024. Representative Shekarchi has been a state legislator since 2013, when I had the good fortune of having him sit next to me for his first 2 years in the chamber. He served many roles in the House of Representatives, including as chairman of the Labor Committee, where he advocated for legislation that promoted job growth and stimulated the economy to attract new businesses and assisted existing businesses in our state. He was the primary sponsor of the Rhode Island New Qualified Jobs Incentive Act that was made part of the state budget, which provided tax credits to existing companies to create new jobs and to promote high-profile, high-quality jobs in priority industries in our state. As chairman of the Labor Committee, he worked on legislation to increase the minimum wage, and he worked to reform the Workers' Compensation Act. He was selected to serve as Majority Leader in 2016, at a time when the House of Representatives had some turmoil mid-session, and we needed to elect a new Speaker and Leader. And then working in partnership with the Speaker as Majority Leader, he advocated for the phase-out of the car tax as well as economic development issues. And then after the election of 2020, he built an inclusive team that saw more women in leadership roles, and he also ensured that our party caucuses, which are held periodically, are member-driven instead of staff-driven. When he was elected Speaker in 2021, Joe promised a new and open leadership team for the House of Representatives. He's delivered on those promises. His door is open for members to meet with him. If there's not an appointment available that same day, Joe will make a call to you to let you know when he'll have the opportunity to sit down and talk with you. Every legislative day, the Speaker walks the floor of the House before the session and again after the session to give members of the House an opportunity to speak with him on the issues of the day. He's promoted a mantra of jobs. He worked on the Act on Climate to address energy and environmental issues, housing reforms, and the promotion of Rhode Island's economy through collaboration with businesses, where he has earned the respect of the business community, local chambers of commerce, and the people of our state. He's been at events all over the state, and most likely, he's appeared at least once in every district in the state. In this most recent FY23 budget, the Speaker ensured that $100 million was included in the final budget to address the state's unemployment trust fund and to reduce businesses' unemployment tax rates. In 2021, the Speaker helped negotiate an agreement between the state, Bally's, and IGT, which resulted in a $250 million economic development plan that secured 1,100 well-paying jobs and protected the third largest source of state revenue in our annual budget. During the 2022 legislative session, Speaker Shekarchi advocated for an earmark of $250 million from the American Rescue Plan Act to address the issue of affordable housing and homelessness issues within a package of 10 legislative proposals that followed the 7 legislative proposals that were introduced in 2021, all designed to help to streamline the approval process for the development of low to moderate income housing, to provide more complete and timely information about affordable housing, and to create a Rhode Island Department of Housing with a housing czar to oversee the implementation of further housing development. This was further evidence of the pledge Speaker Shekarchi made in 2021 when he promised that housing issues would be a key cornerstone of his first term. He has demonstrated, both in word and deed, his interest in collaborating with the members of this House in creating a better state. He knows that ultimately, it's not just words of support, but actual action that will make the difference. Joe is truly a compassionate individual, and his love for family and politics is only matched by his love for his dog, Merlin. As we watch the turmoil in Washington, D.C. today, it's clear that some of the candidates for Speaker have not learned the cardinal rule. As Speaker of the House, you represent all the members of the House, and not just those in your party. Joe Shekarchi understands that fact, and he will be the Speaker for all in this House. Mr. Presiding Officer, I enthusiastically rise and submit the name of my friend, Representative K. Joseph Shekarchi, as Speaker to lead the Rhode Island House of Representatives for the next 2 years, and ask you, my colleagues, to give him your support.
Thank you, Representative. The chair will recognize Representative Leonella Felix to second the nomination of Representative K. Joseph Shekarchi as Speaker of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Dear colleagues, I proudly stand before you to second the nomination of my good friend, Joe Shekarchi, to continue serving as our Speaker for the House. When Joe became Speaker 2 years ago, he pledged to make this House a member-driven body. Since then, the environment in the House, and I think we can all attest, has really changed. Women and people of all backgrounds feel more welcome coming into our committees, coming into the State House to advocate for the issues that they care about without fear of retribution or judgment. Joe has also made this a place where women and diverse individuals hold key positions in leadership. Joe says often that his door is always open, and he truly means it. His office is a place where we all feel comfortable going. Whenever I have any questions or concerns about legislation or other issues, I know that Joe will always listen and will always have key advice to give, and I'm always thankful for that. Last year, when we were considering legislation to pass recreational use of marijuana or cannabis, the proposed bill didn't address the issue of automatic expungements. I and others raised our voices in unison in advocating to ensure that the legislation did include automatic expungement. Thank you. And as someone who has been impacted by the criminal legal system, it was extremely important that this provision was included in the bill. And it was all thanks to Joe's leadership, because he listened to the advocates, he listened to us, and the importance that this would mean for our communities. So thank you, Joe, for that in particular. I believe that the resulting product is one that we can all be proud of. 18 other states have legalized cannabis, but they waited years before addressing this issue. And our bill is nationwide at the forefront because we made these changes, because we prioritized our communities, not just revenues when it comes to legalizing cannabis. And again, this is because of Joe Shekarchi's leadership. And that's just one example of Joe's collaborative approach, and his style has resulted in something positive for our state. Joe considers what's best for the state and for the people who we serve in making his decisions. Under his leadership, the House has had an incredible 2 years. We've had historic legislation to combat climate change, unprecedented investments in affordable housing, 3 balanced budget, and this is with no tax cuts, and no tax increase, excuse me. In fact, we actually had strategic tax cuts, which benefit every single one of our residents. It is widely known that Joe is one of the kindest people in Rhode Island government. However, he is not afraid to do what's right, and he is not afraid to make tough decisions. So I believe we are a much more collaborative, empathetic, and productive House under Joe's leadership. The results of the last 2 years speak for themselves. So, dear colleagues, please join me in considering and empathetically supporting Joe to continue serving as our House Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Are there any other seconds to the nomination of K. Joseph Shekarchi as Speaker of the House? If there are any, please rise. Representative Carson, Representative Speakman, Representative DeSimone, Representative Donovan, Representative Dawson, Representative Bia, Representative Blajewski, Representative Phillips, Representative Cardillo, Representative Mazurkowski, that's good. Representative O'Brien, I get it? Okay. Representative Craven, Representative Caldwell, Representative Morales. Nope, okay. Okay, Representative McEntee, I get you, okay. Representative, I got O'Brien. Representative Noré, Representative Batista, Representative Finkelman, Representative Shanley, Representative Perez, Representative Bella Wilkinson. Okay. Representative Agello, Representative Shelkow Smith, Representative Handy, Representative Fogarty, Representative Cordrin, Representative Knight, Representative Serpa, Representative Boland, okay. Representative Constantino, Representative Lima, Representative Azanaro, and Representative Kennedy. Representative Hull, Representative Lombardi, Representative Tanzi, Representative Vos, did I get it right? Okay, it's close. Representative Ackerman, Representative McNamara, Representative Kislak, Representative Carvesi, Representative Diaz, Representative Slater, Representative Bennett, and Representative Edwards. Representative Newberry? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Carter, yeah. I owe you one, Newberry. Okay, yeah. Okay, Representative Carter. Okay, got you. Representative Spears. Representative Falella. Representative Shekarchi. Okay. Representative McGaw. Representative Messier. Representative Cruz, Representative Potter, Representative Baginski, Representative Giraldo, Representative Brian, Representative Felix, Representative Alzate, Representative Casey, he's not here, okay. Representative Solomon, Representative Casimiro, and Representative Kazarian. Are there any other seconds to that? Thank you. Are there any other nominations for Speaker of the House? And so at this moment, I would call on Representative Brian Newberry for his introduction.
Thank you, Chairman Abney. I have not checked the historical record on this today, but I think I might be about to make history as the person in the history of this chamber who has nominated the most different people for Speaker of the House, none of whom have gone on to win the office. But in all seriousness, as much respect as I have for my friend Joe Shekarchi, I mean that sincerely, Joe, I don't agree with a lot of the major policy initiatives. That's politics, and that's fine. I think you're an excellent choice to lead the Democratic Party in this state. But I also believe there should always be a choice for Speaker, and every time I've been here, including 2016, 14, there's always been a choice. So with that, I would like to nominate my friend and longtime colleague, Michael Chippendale from Foster. I could spend a great deal of time extolling Mike's virtues, but most of you in this room, or at least the ones who can vote, a lot of the guests may not, know that Mike is a wonderful person. You're friends with him, you know where he stands, And I would like to nominate him. And I want to add, Representative Abney, I was reminded of something today watching some of the drama down in Washington. My first day in this chamber, our former colleague, John Laughlin, stood up to nominate then Minority Leader Watson for Speaker. And he said, you know, we could make history in this chamber. Because the history in Washington these days, whatever happens down there today is going to be all over the national news, but if we want to trumpet, no pun intended, we should nominate and vote and elect Michael Chippendale as Speaker. And Rep. Abney, you happen to be first on the roll call vote. And Mike, I haven't talked to you about this, but I suspect that if you want to stay on his finance chair, you can, or if you see it as a punishment, he might take you off too. So I am counting on you, Representative Abney, when you cast the first vote, to vote for Mike Chippendale, and I ask the rest of you to follow his lead. Thank you.
You're a great friend, I can tell already. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I call upon Minority Whip David Place to second the nomination of Rep. Chippendale.
Mr. Chairman, I second the nomination of Leader Chippendale.
Now, I'm used to long speeches from him, so that's pretty good. Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other nominations, any other seconds for Minority Leader Chippendale for Speaker of the House? If so, please stand. Okay. Representative Morgan, Representative Quattrochi, Representative Roberts, Representative Nardone, and Representative Chippendale. Representative Rea. Did I get everybody? Okay. Thank you. Are there any other nominations for Minority Leader for Speaker of the House? If so, please rise. You've done that. Okay, great. Are there any other nominations for the position of Speaker of the House? I call upon Representative Christopher Blajewski to move the nominations be closed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move nominations are closed.
And I call upon Representative Kazarian to second that motion.
I second that motion.
Leader Blajewski has moved the nominations be closed, and with Kazarian, second that motion. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The nominations are closed. Clerk, please call the roll.
Please state Shekarchi or Chippendale. When you speak, please. Representative Abney.
Shekarchi.
Representative Ackerman. Representative Agello. Representative Alzate. Representative Azanaro. Representative Baginski. Representative Batista. Representative Bennett. Representative Bia. Representative Blajewski. Representative Boylan. Representative Brian. Representative Caldwell. Representative Cardillo Jr. Representative Carson. Representative Casey. Representative Casimiro. Representative Chippendale. Representative Cortvian. Representative Corvesi. Representative Costantino. Representative Carter. Representative Craven. Representative Cruz. Representative Dawson. Representative DeSimone. Representative Diaz. Representative Donovan. Representative Edwards. Representative Felix. Representative Falella. Representative Fenton Fung. Representative Finkelman. Representative Fogarty. Representative Giraldo. Representative Handy. Representative Henrys. Representative Hull. Representative Kazarian. Representative Kennedy. Representative Kislak. Representative Knight. Representative Lima. Representative Lombardi. Representative Maslakowski. Representative McEntee. Representative McGaw. Representative McNamara. Representative Messier. Representative Morales. Representative Morgan. Representative Nardone. Representative Newberry. Representative Norrie. Representative O'Brien. Representative Perez. Representative Phillips. Representative Place. Representative Potter. Representative Quattrochi. Representative Rea. Representative Roberts. Representative Sanchez. Representative Sanchez? Representative Serpa. Representative Shallcross Smith. Representative Shanley. Representative Shekarchi. Representative Slater. Representative Solomon. Representative Speakman. Representative Spears. Representative Stewart. Representative Tansey. Representative Vella Wilkinson. And Representative Boas.
Okay, thank you very much. There are 64 votes cast for Representative Shekarchi. There are 8 votes cast for Representative Chippendale. It is my honor and pleasure to announce that Representative K. Joseph Shekarchi of District 23 in Warwick has been re-elected Speaker for the years 2023 and 2024.
We got a
I now invite Supreme Court Justice Maureen McKenna Goldberg to the rostrum to administer the oath of office to the Honorable Speaker K. Joseph Shekarchi. And I'll also invite Mary Shekarchi, sister of Speaker Shekarchi, to join him on the rostrum to hold the family Bible.
Nicely done, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Speaker Shekarchi, will you please raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible? I, K. Joseph Shekarchi,
I, K. Joseph Shekarchi,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully discharge the duties of Speaker
to faithfully discharge the duties of Speaker
with fairness to all,
with fairness to all,
and to uphold the honor and prerogatives of this House
to uphold the honor and prerogatives of this House
and its members
and its members
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations
Thank you very much.
and welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Before I begin my remarks, I'd like to just take a moment of silence to recognize the passing of Governor Almond. I know the clerk will have a formal statement at the conclusion under announcements, but if we could all please rise for a moment of silence recognizing Governor Lincoln Almond. Thank you. Thank you. Members of the House, honored guests, family, and friends, I'd like to extend my deepest appreciation to Chairman Abney for doing an outstanding job as the presiding officer at this session, and for the tremendous work he has done as chair of our House Finance Committee for nearly a decade. Thank you to Speaker Pro Tem Brian Kennedy and Representative Leonella Felix for your kind words in placing my name into nomination. Brian is starting his 35th year in the House. And as I told the freshmen at the orientation, he will still be in this chamber long after they are gone. Today is also Brian's birthday. So Brian, happy birthday. To all those who supported me today, I sincerely thank you. I'm honored and humbled and will strive to live up to the trust that you've placed in me. I'd especially like to thank Majority Leader Chris Blazajewski for being my partner in government, my trusted advisor, and a good friend. The House has had so many incredible accomplishments over the past 2 years, and these could not have taken place without the hard work and careful guidance of Leader Blazajewski. To Minority Leader Mike Chippendale, as you begin your first session in your new role, I offer you my congratulations and best wishes. While Mike and I may not always agree on every issue, we have always shown mutual respect for each other. And we both share a deep respect for this House. Mike, I look forward to working with you and your caucus. I would also like to thank Supreme Court Justice Maureen McKenna Goldberg for again swearing me in, and to thank you too, as well, my good friend, former House colleague, Secretary of State Greg Amore, for administering the oath of office to all of us. To my sister Mary, thank you for standing with me today, and to all my family, I appreciate your support as well. I would like to recognize several dignitaries who joined us today. My good friend, and a good friend to all of Rhode Island, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos. Attorney General Peter Nerona. General Treasurer James Diossa. And Providence Mayor Brett Smiley. Thank you all. Two years ago, when Leader Blazajewski and I stood before many of you, and we pledged to make this a member-driven body and committed to a new spirit of collaboration, not only within the House, but with all partners in government. Since that first day, we have worked to bring people together, and we have focused on building consensus in the pursuit of the common good. At the end of the day, regardless of where we stand on the issues, we all come into this room with the best intentions of our constituents and the entire state at heart. I believe a strong spirit of collaboration has helped us accomplish so much. The past two-year term was one of the most productive in recent history. Legislation we passed was the result of many, many hours of hard work. For that, I thank you. I am proud to lead this very diverse and talented group of lawmakers. Over the last 2 years, we laid a solid groundwork and have achieved so much. Unprecedented investments in housing, more than $250 million. We established the first ever permanent funding stream for affordable housing in Rhode Island, and the creation of a housing secretary. The best 2 years of environmental policy making in the history of Rhode Island, including the passage of the Historic Act on Climate. And also, in the past 2 years, we've passed 3 fair and balanced budgets, which we have not raised taxes. In fact, we implemented strategic tax relief that impacts virtually all Rhode Islanders, including the permanent elimination of the car tax. As we embark on a new legislative term, we need to build upon this foundation. We will continue to meet the needs of today while putting ourselves in the best position to solve the problems of tomorrow. We made progress in tackling Rhode Island's housing crisis. However, we need to do much more. Our lack of affordable housing has been exposed in recent months. There can be no doubt we have a housing crisis and a homelessness crisis. As long as there are people without safe and permanent housing, our work is not done. In the last session, we created 2 commissions, which have been working diligently to look at many of the barriers to housing production in Rhode Island. One commission, led by Chairwoman June Speakman, is studying the state's Low and Moderate Housing Act. The other commission is made up of a team of experts studying land use in more general terms. I am incredibly proud of the work of both commissions and look forward to receiving their recommendations, which we hope will lead to even more housing legislation this year to aggressively and creatively tackle this critical issue. In order to find solutions to our housing crisis, we need to bring all parties to the table, including cities and towns. As our commissions have already heard, some of the barriers to housing production must be addressed at the local level. While we have built and funded a solid framework over the past 2 years, now we must ensure that the directives we have set forth are executed swiftly and efficiently. As stewards of the state's budget, which is our single most important duty as a House, we must make certain that taxpayer resources are leveraged judiciously. We have allocated unprecedented investments in housing, healthcare, and human services. We must ensure that these dollars are deployed effectively, expeditiously, and prudently. We must be steadfast in ensuring that the legislation and funding that we have all worked so diligently to craft is implemented. Because while we have weathered the storm of COVID-19, there is another real and impending storm on the horizon, the recession of 2023. While we continue working to strengthen our economy now, we must anticipate and prepare for the economy of tomorrow. There is no reason why Rhode Island cannot be a leader in the bio-life science field. Our world-class healthcare and higher education institutions, biomanufacturing companies, combined with our closeness to metropolitan areas, uniquely position Rhode Island to become a hub in the field of life sciences. The emerging green economy also presents a host of opportunities for us to create new jobs while we move away from the reliance on carbon fuels. I want to build on the last 2 years of the historic accomplishments in the environmental initiatives. We must continue striving to meet renewable energy goals and the guidelines outlined on the Act on Climate. We also need to make sure that the next generation of our workforce is trained and ready. We must ensure that all students are able to achieve greatness and are prepared for success. As we build on the accomplishments of the last 2 years, we will continue to maintain the transparency that has been the hallmark of this House. We better serve the public when our government is open and accessible. I ask you to join me in committing to these ideals. This is a very special day for our freshman members and their families. Thank you to the families of the new members for sharing them with us. No doubt, you have already learned how much hard work goes into being a state representative. I'm very impressed with this class of 12 freshmen, their energy, passion, and commitment to the issues. This is a great class, and they are joining a great House. To my colleagues in this chamber, I believe in you. I'm excited to continue the work we've started and to accomplish even more. We will work together to get good things done this session. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to recognize Mayor Grebian, who has joined us as well from the fine city of Pawtucket. Thank you, Mayor. We have some additional business and elections to conduct, and I'll try to go through them as quickly as possible. The next order of business is the election of the clerk of the House for the years 2023 and 2024. Nominations are in order. I call upon Representative Mary Messier of Pawtucket.
Thank you, Speaker. I place the name of Francis McCabe of the fine city of Pawtucket into nomination as clerk of the House.
Thank you. Is there a second? The Speaker represents the nomination to be seconded by Representative Alzate.
I cast one ballot for the nomination of Francis McCabe as clerk of the House.
Thank you. Representative Messier, you move the nominations be closed?
I move the nominations be closed at this time.
Representative Messier moves the nominations be closed, seconded by Representative Alzate. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The nomination is closed. I call upon Representative Messier.
I move that the election of the clerk be made by one ballot, with Representative Alzate casting one ballot for Francis McCabe for the office of clerk of the House.
That motion is seconded by Representative Felix. Representative Messier moves that the election of the clerk be made by Representative Alzate, casting one vote for Francis McCabe. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Representative Alzate, can you recast the ballot?
I cast one ballot for the nominations of Francis McCabe as clerk of the House.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. I declare Francis McCabe is elected clerk of the House. Congratulations. The next order of business is the election of the recording clerk for the House of Representatives for the years 2023 and 2024. Nominations are in order. I call upon Whip Kazarian of East Providence.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I place the name of Diane DePina, an East Providence native, into nomination as recording clerk of the House.
Thank you. I call upon Representative Dawson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second that nomination as Diane DePina as recording clerk of the House.
Thank you. I now call on Whip Kazarian.
I move that the nominations be closed.
Whip Kazarian moves the nominations be closed. Is there a second to by Representative Dawson to close the nominations?
I move to close the nominations.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The ayes have it. The nominations are closed. I call upon Whip Kazarian.
Thank you, Speaker. I move that the election of the clerk be made by one ballot, with Representative Dawson casting one ballot for Diane DePina for the office of recording clerk of the House.
Thank you. That motion is seconded by Representative Dawson. Whip Kazarian moves the election of the clerk be made by Representative Dawson casting one vote for Diane DePina. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Representative Dawson, you casting one ballot on behalf of Diana DePina as a recording hearse?
I do pass one ballot for Diane DePina as recording clerk.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. I declare Diane DePina is elected the recording clerk for the House. Congratulations. Frank and Diane, I ask you to please rise and raise your right hands to take the oath of office, please. Do you, Francis McCabe, as clerk of the House, and you, Diane DePina, as recording clerk of the House, solemnly swear that you will be true and faithful to the state of Rhode Island, support the Constitution and laws of the state, and you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of your aforesaid offices during the 2023 and 2024 sessions to the best of your abilities, according to law, so help you God? I do. Congratulations to you both. The next order of business is communications. Clerk, do we have any communications?
Yes, we do, Speaker.
Please read.
Unfortunately, I am unable to attend today's session on January 3rd, 2023. Had I been present, I would have voted for K. Joseph Shekarchi for Speaker of the House. I kindly ask that this communication be entered into the journal. Sincerely, Representative Stephen M. Casey.
Thank you.
Communication from Speaker K. Joseph Shekarchi. I was saddened to learn of the passing of Governor Lincoln Almond, who had a long and distinguished career in public service. He was an outstanding town administrator in Lincoln and was nationally recognized as a U.S. attorney. He capped off his career with 8 years as governor, always displaying dignity and compassion while working in a bipartisan fashion to accomplish so much for the people of Rhode Island. All of the members of the House of Representatives join me in extending our thoughts and prayers to the family of Governor Almond.
Thank you. I now call upon Leader Chippendale, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'd like to congratulate you on your narrow victory.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and I look forward to working with you. Speaker, as you're aware, the motto of our state is hope. And just as Rhode Islanders or New Englanders, every springtime we are filled with hope when we think of the wonderful weather that's coming. I feel the same sort of feeling on Inauguration Day because it's the beginning. And a lot of things can happen when this group of people puts their minds to it. Speaker, you touched on some things that really hit home to me, and I'm going to hold your feet to the fire on being the Speaker for the entire chamber, because I think that's the right way. You've gone to great lengths to diversify, not just the chamber and how the chamber looks, the staff, the messaging. You've done great things towards that diversity, and a diversity of ideas should not be dismissed as well. So I do look forward to our collaborative relationship where we are able to share those ideas and work together on initiatives that are going to benefit the people that we represent. And Speaker, coming off of an election, it's certainly fresh in all of our memories. Any political conversation, there will always be fringes on either side. But we were elected, and the preponderance of Rhode Islanders are not in those fringes. Our constituents are the people who are, as you pointed out, about to go down the road of a very difficult economic time, not just in Rhode Island, but nationwide. The people that we represent have also suffered from 3 of the most difficult years, certainly in my lifetime, and probably in many others as well, over the past 3 years. We have an obligation, and we have the tools to take care of those things and those people. I'm looking forward to all of us working to move those goals forward. I'm looking forward to all of us taking the tough challenges, taking the difficult issues, and turning them around to benefit the people we represent. Again, Speaker, I want to congratulate you. I do look forward to working with you over the next 2 years, as I do with everybody in this chamber, and let's get some really good things done. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. Thank you. I now call on Leader Blazajewski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. I'd like Leader Chippendale, I want to start by congratulating you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for your leadership over the last 2 years. You said a lot of the things that we've done up here is a team effort, but it also requires leadership. Changing the culture of an organization is not easy, especially an organization with as much history as this one. And you've done that. You've done that by working together with other people. You've done that by keeping your door open and being transparent. You've done that by truly trying to make this a member-driven chamber. And it's never going to be perfect because we're a legislature. There's 75 reps up here. But the job is really to do the best you can to bring all the voices together and everyone to the table. And Mr. Speaker, you've done that. So I just want to thank you and congratulate you. I'm so proud of the vote today, and I look forward to the things we'll do over the next 2 years, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. And Mr. Speaker, I have a couple additional items here today, now.
Please.
First, I'd like to welcome your guests as well. Your sister, obviously, Mary Shekarchi, was up there with the Bible earlier today. Well done, Mary. I'd also like to welcome your brother, John Shekarchi, your cousin, Donna Tremonti Bentfield, your cousins, Ray and Susan Esposito, and finally, your good friend, Mr. Speaker, Elizabeth Perrick. So welcome to the House. Thank you for being here. And Mr. Speaker, I just want to congratulate and thank all of the members who are returning. We've done a lot over the last 2 years together as a team, and I look forward to working together to continue to move Rhode Island forward. In particular, I want to thank and congratulate the first-term legislators. It's been a pleasure to get to know you. We're going to get to know you more. You've worked so hard and put yourself out there to become a state representative, and now you get to do the job. And it is long hours and a lot of work, but it is worth it because you can really make the lives of people around better. So I look forward to working with you to achieve that. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the families, friends, and neighbors that are here that supported the candidates that are sitting in these seats, thank you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come up and spend countless hours waiting for this event to happen and then spend more hours sitting in your seat. So thank you for the support you gave to all the people that are here. It could not have been done without you to be elected to office, and so thank you for your contributions to all of us in helping us serve the people of Rhode Island. And Mr. Speaker, a few housekeeping items, and then I'll be done. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll be meeting in session this Thursday, January 5th at 4 p.m. You begin to introduce new business on that day. And we ask that you sit in your current seats at the start of Thursday's session, and a new seating chart will be distributed on Thursday that will be effective beginning on next Tuesday, which will be our next legislative day after Thursday. This will give those of you with new seating assignments time to move your belongings after this Thursday's sessions. Also Thursday, Mr. Speaker, a photographer will be available in the House Lounge from 3 p.m. until the start of our session at 4, and he will be there again after session to take new photos for returning members for the legislative website and for official purposes. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to join you, as you said earlier, in wishing a very happy birthday to Speaker Pro Tem Kennedy. Happy birthday, Brian. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Leader. I now call on members who may want to have any introductions of family and friends. So, Representative Perez, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Introduction?
Please, proceed.
I'd like to welcome my mom here and my wife, Mayra. You know, I do everything for them, and I really enjoy they're here. I have my councilwoman. She just were in yesterday in Providence, Ana Vargas. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Henrys, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm feeling especially blessed to be able to not only be celebrating my start of my second term here, but I would like to take a moment to congratulate my mom and her new husband, Thomas Woodson, my mom, Helena. They're back there. They've come out to support me, and I'd also like to recognize my sister, Odina, and my boyfriend, Jared.
Thank you. Representative Bella Wilkinson, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, I would like to introduce, to begin with, my husband, Ken, who is retired from the Newport Police Department, as well as the United States Army. Dr. Conchetta Archer, Ian Vella Wilkinson. Stand up so they can see you. Amanda Vella Wilkinson, Dr. Deborah Schusterman, who's retired Navy, and Sal Cayozzo from the United States Army, who's also retired and currently the commander of DAV Chapter 9. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Sanchez, please.
Hello. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Enrique Sanchez. I'd like to take the time to recognize my family who drove from the Midwest, and my family who's been here in Rhode Island for the last 30 years. My grandmother, Corazon Amigon, my stepfather, Temo, my mother, Jacqueline Amigon, my sister, Guadalupe de la Rosa, my sister, Stephanie Sanchez, my grandmother, Guadalupe Sanchez, Maria Sanchez, and my stepmother, Jessica Sanchez, and my father, Enrique Sanchez, my little brother, and my other younger brother who couldn't be here. Well, he was here, I think he left. He's a newly elected city council member in Providence, Miguel Sanchez. I also want to take the time to just mention a couple of things quickly. As a new incoming legislator, I just want to let folks know that especially coming from Providence, that there is a lot of urge for change in our education system, in our housing crisis, healthcare crisis. There's a lot of pressure as new politicians, and I'm grateful to be here and continue the same progress that you guys have been working with here for the last few years. things are really desperate for a lot of people in Providence and in our urban communities all across the state of Rhode Island. And I look forward to working with each and every single one of you to pass good policies and good bills that are going to uplift all our communities all across the state. And I ask, again, one more thing, that please do not take things personal. It's all about policy and bills. And I really want to make sure I work with each and every single one of you to improve our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Craven, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce the General Treasurer's new legislative liaison, Rob Craven. Stand up, Rob.
Somebody you may know.
When we're talking about diversity, he's 1/4 Irish, 1/4 Portuguese, and half Sicilian. Thank you.
I think the General Treasurer got the best of that deal. Thank you. Representative Bia, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to introduce my wife, Mrs. Thamalena Bia. Please stand. She's a middle school teacher in the city of Providence. And also my daughter, who is a junior at Classical High School. And my son, who is a senior at University of New Haven. Thank you.
Welcome, thank you. Representative Morales, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, it is refreshing to see all of you once more. I would just like to take a moment to introduce a very special individual, that being my mother, Sylvia Morales Paredes. And just for context, as some of you may know, I was raised by a single mother who worked multiple jobs to make ends meet. But most importantly, she is the reason why I am here and has helped shape the policy values that I stand for as it relates to ensuring that we have living wages for all people regardless of occupation, ensuring that we get to a pathway of universal health care, and most importantly, ensuring that everyone is safely housed. Because of her, I have this opportunity to stand before you at the age of 24 as the youngest Latino ever elected across the country, here within the legislature, something I take deeply, deeply, deeply responsible for. And just want to further reiterate again, muchas gracias, mamá, por estar aquí y tener este momento con su hijo, su águila, su bebé. Te quiero mucho. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative McEntee, please. Representative McEntee, your light.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. He's not going to like this, but I'm going to introduce my husband, former State Representative Michael McEntee. He was the rep from Warwick back in the day.
District 32.
District 32. Good for you, Speaker. And I'd also like to introduce Nick Edwards, who is heading up the RI 250 committee. And he's also my campaign manager, so say hello. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Lima, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Congratulations on your re-election for us.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce the family I became very close with the representative who was a fierce fighter for his constituents, and you always know where he's coming from. The family of Representative Ed Cardillo. We have here on this wall his beautiful wife, Pat, his daughter, Brianna. He has a daughter, Lauren, and they were the powerhouses behind his election. Welcome to the House.
Thank you. Welcome, Mrs. Cardillo. It's a pleasure to see you again. Representative Boylan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm thrilled to have my family here with me today, and I'd like to just give them a very brief introduction. My parents are here, Bob and Sheila Smith. They're new Rhode Islanders. They've lived here for about 3 years. My father-in-law, Terry Boylan, and my husband, Terrence Boylan Jr., and my 2 kids, Jamie, who is a second-year student at Northeastern, and Tanner, who's an 8th grader and a wrestler. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to the House. Representative Speakman, please.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to recognize my son, Adam, who's up there.
He knows almost as much about housing as you and I do because he listens to me talk about it when I come home. So thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much. Representative Carson, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Congratulations on your re-election as Speaker.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce a couple folks that I happen to know from Newport. The first one is Sharon Connors, who is a friend, dear friend, and the chair of the Newport Canvassing Authority. Worked very hard this November to make sure our elections in Newport were fair and honest. Ryan Patrick Kelly, who's been a longtime activist here in the state of Rhode Island. His contribution to Rhode Island actions and policy goes back a ways, considering how young he is. And I'd like to introduce my dear partner, Guy Cummings, who also has to listen to all the stuff that I bring home and talk about particularly. So thank you to all three of you.
Thank you. Welcome to the House. Representative Shawcross-Smith, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations. I'd like to welcome and thank very much my family who's here today, my husband, Ronald Smith, my two sons, Keith Shawcross, Christopher Smith, and my daughter, Amy Shawcross-Vogel. And Happy New Year to our chamber and people here today.
Welcome to the House. Leader Chippendale.
Thank you, Speaker.
Old habits die hard.
It'll take a while. Speaker, I'd like to introduce my wife, Cherie, a woman without whom I would be nothing. And the two greatest things I have ever done and will ever do in this world, my children, Paige and Shane Chippendale. And Speaker, I would also like to take this opportunity to introduce the newest member of the House Republican Caucus, Representative Brian Rea. As Rhode Island goes, Brian and I happened to graduate high school the same year in the same high school in Johnston. Brian represents District 53, which those of us in this room know is mostly Smithfield and a little bit of the fantastic town of Gloucester. Brian is a 20-year facilities director at Rhode Island Charter Organization. He's a successful business owner, has a corner store and a restaurant in the outstanding town of Gloucester, Harmony Corner Store. And Brian's not new to politics. Brian, growing up in Johnston, the landfill was always an issue. So Brian kind of cut his teeth on issues around that. And on one particular campaign, really buckled down and got the Conservation Law Society involved and battled this behemoth in Johnston, and had great success in doing so. He changed the way that they operate up there, and that gave him a little bit of love and a little bit of taste of politics. Brian also has been operating the Smithfield Republican Town Committee, newly reconstituted, which has enjoyed tremendous success of all of the candidates they put forward this year. 75% of them were elected, which is really remarkable, especially for a committee that was only a couple of years old. And Brian lives in Smithfield with his wife, Michelle, and they have 3 children, Kevin, Brianna, and Giovanni, and a grandson, Noah. And also today, joining Brian and his family is his mom and dad, Dominic and Sarah Rea, and his brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Anthony and Karen. Welcome to the House of Representatives, Representative Rea.
Welcome, Representative. Looking forward to working with you. Representative McGaugh, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations. And I just want to welcome some of my family that is joining me here today. It means the world to me that my brother and his wife, Mark Russo and Teresa, drove here from Connecticut to join me, and I'm so happy to have you here. We didn't get to do this, as you know, 2 years ago, and so being able to make up for lost time, I really appreciate it. And I also want to welcome my husband, Jim McGaugh, here as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Representative Tansey, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Congratulations. I'm very much looking forward to a new session. I have the honor and the privilege of introducing the families of 2 freshman representatives. I'm going to begin with my closest seatmate here, Tina Spears, someone who I've known for many, many years, and I'm so proud to see her in this seat here tonight. She's joined by her husband, Forrest Spears, her sons River and Ahanu Spears, and some members of her campaign staff. She has Kathleen Mara, Kath Conley, Trustum Grow, sorry about that, and Janice Aragon. So welcome to the chamber, and we're so proud of all the work you've done to bring Tina into our lives. Thank you. And the second introduction is on behalf of Representative Cherie Cruz. I'm very much looking forward to getting to know her and working with her. She has an unbridled spirit, and I think she's going to make a big difference in this House. Her guests tonight, a lot of people who are very proud of her have joined her in the chamber this evening. Her brother, Randall Cruz, her other brother, Raymond Plant, her daughter, Cherise Cruz, her son, Terrell Cruz, her uncle is Cesar Cruz, her granddaughter is Jaslyn Cruz, she has a brother, Robert Cruz, who's here, Richard Angel is a cousin, Renee Cruz is her sister. We have Aaron Dixon and Christopher Cruz, and two nephews, Richard Cruz and Robert Cruz. Mark Fisher is a friend of hers. Jennifer DiMondonca is another close friend, Richard Addison as well. Her late brother, Richard Cruz, she just wanted to mention, she knows that they are here in spirit with her, and her late parents, Randall and Marie Cruz, and then her sister-in-law, Celeste Santiago, and her brother, Randall Cruz. So on behalf of the very many people who are here supporting Cherie, welcome to the House, Cherie.
Welcome. It's quite a big family. They're all proud of you, I'm sure. Representative Phillips, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations on your re-election.
Thank you.
I'd like to, I know I embarrass her every time she comes to the State House, but my lovely, awesome wife, Nancy, is up in the gallery. Can't live without her for 41 years plus. But mainly, the reason why I rose is because I wanted to welcome back to the chamber a former majority leader and one of our newest reps' father, John D. Simone. John, welcome back to the chamber. And also to welcome a very good friend of mine, John Brian, back to the chamber also. John, look forward to working with you.
Representative Vos, please.
Election. I just want to recognize my family here in the corner, starting with my brother. He helped me out a lot during the campaign. He was my, I guess, unofficial campaign manager over there. He did a lot for me. Like my grandfather next to him. I appreciate him being here and dealing with all my, you-know-what, at the Thanksgiving and Christmas tables. My grandmother as well. I couldn't have done it without her. She's really just meant the most to me my entire life. She's really just been, she's been there for everything for me. So I really appreciate her very much. That's my girlfriend right next to her, Chelsea, and of course my father, Todd. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to working with every one of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Representative Serpa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations to you. She's not here, but with your indulgence and the indulgence of my colleagues, could I please acknowledge my almost 98-year-old mom,
Absolutely.
Connie Petrarca, who is at home watching this today. She, as much as she said she'd like to come, she said, getting dressed and doing that long walk is a bit much for me. But I feel so blessed at my age to have my 98-year-old mother at home watching this. And I assure you, freshmen, the highlight of the spring is when I bring home the government owner's manual. She knows the returning representatives by name, and she'll mention when I get home, this one stood up or that one stood up, and what did this one mean by that? So I promise you, to the 12 new members, when I bring that manual home, she will know each and every one of you by the second week of having the manual. So welcome to all of you, and Mom, thank you, and God bless you with another 98 years.
Thank you. God bless. Representative Caldwell, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations, my friend.
Thank you.
I would like to welcome my family who's here, my two kids, Escher and Lulu, who decided this morning that they wanted to come to my swearing in, not because they got to get out of school an hour early, allegedly, and my husband, David, who are all in the gallery. Oh, there they are. Hi. They also just decided moments ago they wanted to be introduced, so I'm not sure why they look so sullen up there. And luckily for them, they do not get to hear everything when I come home about what happens here. But the last time I was sworn in, they got to see it. They were 4 and 6, so I'm delighted to have them back here to see how our government works here in Rhode Island. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Knight, please.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker, and congratulations. It's really nice to be back and see everyone again. She beat me to it in talking about her family, but I just wanted to take a moment and welcome our newest rep, one of Barrington's finest, Representative Jennifer Smith Boylan, who is taking over the District 66 seat. For those of you who don't know her, she has been a passionate advocate on the gun violence front as the chapter head for Moms Demand Action in Rhode Island. She's done tremendous work. She's been in this building, frankly, probably more than I have over the last few years. And she's a small business owner. She's a mom. She is a community leader and a go-getter, as you can see, because I asked her, I said, do you want me to, introduce your family? She said, no, I got it. Like, I'm all set. But I want you all, I know we've had a couple of social occasions, but if you haven't met her, please seek her out. She is going to be a big mover and shaker in this body, and I expect great things. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Corvasi, please.
Thank you, Mr. Congratulations on a well-deserved honor returning here for the next 2 years as Speaker.
Thank you.
Announcement, introduction, and reintroduction.
Proceed.
The announcement is I have been asked by the Rhode Island Association of Nurse Anesthetists to mention that the reception they had planned tomorrow has been postponed, and you will all get some type of notification when it will be rescheduled. I wanted to pass that along.
Thank you.
As far as the announcement, I also would like to welcome Andrew DeSimone here. It's a pleasure to see you. It's a pleasure to see your dad again, and I look forward to working together with you. As far as reintroduction, just when he thought he was out, they pulled him back in. John Breen, you were here. I was here when you got here the first time. I've been waiting for you to come back. You and I will have many discussions over the next couple of years, but I just wanted to welcome you back to the chamber. You have a good day and enjoy it. It'll be an interesting 2 years.
Thank you. Representative Diaz, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for announcement and adjournment.
Please proceed on both.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I do that, I would like to congratulate you. I never been so excited to having you as a speaker again, especially because I grabbed a cup of coffee and I was reading the article, wonderful article about you. And that article showed me and proved me why you are the speaker. Because you have amazing qualities that allowing you to be able to understand 75 members with 75 different backgrounds. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And for the freshmen, I just want to say that I always looking to make friends. So I'm available. You can invite me for a cup of coffee. We can have a conversation in a neighborhood or wherever. But my issues in the house is education. Everybody knows, especially Abney, child care. Right, Abney? And immigration issues that I'm very pleased that the speaker listened to what I bring to the floor. And today I have some people who are very special to me. A lady who says similar or more than the sister. She's a social worker at the Department of DCYF. She's always with me, advising me in every aspect of my life. I'm so pleased to introduce my good friend, Evelyn Perez. She's in this balcony. And Evelyn traveling around the world with me, so we have a lot of secret, Mr. Speaker, to share. Okay. And the last but not least, I had 3 more guests up there. One is Arelis Medina, and Noemi Cruz, and Candy Danisher. So for all of them, thank you so much for being here to helping your special state legislator, Grace Diaz. So thank you.
Thank you. Representative Slater, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you for giving me the time today. I'd like to welcome all my new colleagues that are coming into this chamber. I look forward to working with you and look forward to passing great policy. But introduction, I would like to announce we're all up here for a number of years, and we have friends and colleagues. Some come, some go, some come back, and we get to know one another on a different level. And one of the best guys I've ever served up here with is here today, and I look forward to having his son serve up here, is Representative John DeSimone, the father of Anthony DeSimone, who's up here. John was a great leader and wonderful, and always someone I could lean on. So I appreciate him being up here. Him, his wife Diane, his brothers Tommy, Anthony, also John Jr., his sisters Gail and Mary, and also his girlfriend Julia and her father Robert Russo. He's got a wonderful crew up here supporting him, and we look forward to working with you, Anthony, and thank you for being up here, and look forward to form a relationship like me and your dad had. So let's go. Thank you.
Thank you. Whip Kazarian, please.
Mr. Speaker, first of all, congratulations to you on your reelection. You do such a wonderful job serving all of us, and I'm so happy to have you serve as our speaker again. I have two introductions. For my first introduction, I would like to introduce the newest member of the East Providence delegation, Representative Matt Dawson. Matt Dawson is an esteemed attorney here in Rhode Island, and he's also a beloved member of our community. I know he's going to serve us very well here in the House. With him today, he has his wife Bethany, his two daughters Kelsey and Abby, his mother Sheila Perkins, his stepfather Tom Perkins, his sister Erin Carlston, his aunts Beth DeCosta, oh sorry about that, and Mary Susan Tavares, who also served as his campaign manager, and his uncle Manuel Tavares. All of them have worked so hard on his campaign. They're all really beloved members of the East Providence community, so we're happy to have them here with us. And then for my second introduction, I'd like to introduce somebody that you're all familiar with, my mom, Michelle Kazarian, who's up in the gallery today. And she is here with the first Senate president and a very dear family friend, Mr. Bill Irons, and his grandson, Josh. Thank you. Welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you. Representative Casimiro, please.
Thank you, Speaker, and congratulations on your reelection. I have two introductions. I have three of my constituents are up in the gallery today. They surprised me and came to the inauguration. Joey and Michael Vento are up there. They worked their tails off this summer in the heat to help me, Seth Magaziner, and Bob Craven get elected. Also with them is Julia Carullo. She's a constituent, and I know that she had office space with her dad, Joseph. So I want to welcome all three of them to the chamber. They're up there waving. I'd also like to introduce one of the new members of the chamber. Her name is Megan Carter. And Megan is the new representative from District 39, which is Exeter, Richmond, and Hopkinton. Meg is one of the few women in squid sales and has successfully learned how to navigate a male-dominated industry. She is the first squid girl or squid salesperson to be sworn into the General Assembly. And just so you know, at home, she is called the calamari queen. Megan is here with her family, her loving husband, Chris, and their 3 children. If you know Meg, you know that she puts her family above everything. She loves to brag about her kids being on the honor roll in the National Honor Society. She's also accompanied today by her grandfather, who was a 95-year-old World War II veteran, her grandmother-in-law, her dear sister and brother, who are her closest family members, Town Councilor Olivia DiFrancesco, Exeter Department of Social Services Director Jessica DiMartino, and some of her closest friends and supporters. Megan worked very hard to get here. She worked years to get here, and she's honored to be in this chamber to work diligently to deliver for the people who live in District 31. So welcome, Representative Carter.
Welcome, thank you. Representative Brien, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House. Mr. Speaker, congratulations on your reelection to being the Speaker once again. I want to say to my colleagues today that I have a unique position of being here because I've come back. And some of you might be glad about that, some of you may not be, but that's okay. It's so good to be standing here because it's really only upon leaving and returning do you truly get a sense of the gravity and the importance and the respect that you have for this room and for this body and for the people that serve this state, these 75 representatives. And I printed this list, and I wish I had printed it a little bit bigger because my eyes aren't what they used to be. But when I was here last, in 2012, Representatives Agello, Azanaro, Bennett, Blazajewski, Chippendale, Diaz, Edwards, we have Falella, Rep. Handy, Rep. Hull, Rep. Kennedy, the birthday boy. Happy birthday, Brian. Representative Lima, Rep. McNamara, Rep. Messier, Rep. Newberry, Rep. Phillips, the senior member of the Woonsocket delegation, Rep. Serpa, and Rep. Tansey. Your longevity in this room and the amount of time you've been here is a testament to the service and the commitment that you have had to your communities, and you're to be congratulated for that. I look forward to working with you once again, and it's an honor. And to the balance of the chamber, we may not know each other, we will get to know each other, and I express the same sentiment. I look forward to working with each and every one of you to make my city and this state and this institution better. Left off of that list I just read was Rep. Morgan and Rep. Shawcross-Smith. They have the unique perspective of returning after leaving, and so they know exactly where I'm coming from. And so they have that ability to appreciate what it's like to leave and come back. The last individual, and last but not least on that list, is truly my honor to work with again, and it is my friend, my mentor, and my hero, always has been, Dr. Arthur Corvese, and I am so grateful to be back here once again to work with him. Some introductions, Mr. Speaker, an introduction I wish I could make today, but I cannot, and that's my dad, Albert Brien. Albert was a state representative in this chamber from 1974 to 1987. He was chairman of corporations, and as a house page when I was in high school and I saw him give impassioned speeches on the floor, I was amazed at his ability to orate, and I always felt him to be the Mario Cuomo of Rhode Island. I just couldn't believe how talented of a man he was, and I wish he was here today. He was at my first inauguration, but he's here in spirit today. I have the next best thing, though, and I have my aunt, Obeline Plant, his sister, who I'm so grateful to be here, to have here, and I feel so connected to my dad today, and it's truly an honor. Also with me, I have someone that, my father-in-law, who serves my community and serves it incredibly well, Paul Bourget. He is the chairman of the Woonsocket School Committee and is probably one of the most dedicated school committee chairs throughout this state of Rhode Island. And finally, I have my wife, Nicole. My wife, Nicole, is the best for me because she's someone that just cares absolutely nothing about politics. And that is that's the best sounding board that you can ever have. Nicole serves our community in much different ways. She's the immediate past president of the Rotary Club. She's a future district governor of the Rotary Club. And the way she serves the people of our city is in quiet and anonymous ways that has a deep and serious impact on our community. No one has taught me about life more than my wife, Nicole. She's a 2-time breast cancer survivor, and she has taught me about what's important in this life. That it doesn't matter what's going on in this chamber. It doesn't matter what's going on with your job. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. If you could put your feet on the ground in the morning and smell the air and see the light, you've been blessed by God for that day. You've been given a gift, and use it well and use it wisely. One thing I've learned in this chamber in my past life was that we get caught up in this room, in this bubble, in the things that we do here as though it is real life, and it's not. Real life is out there. Real life is the people that don't understand or even care about what's going on in this room. It's about what the choices that we make and how they're impacted. That's what's important. So as we move forward, I look so forward to working with all of you. I'm grateful to be here. I wouldn't be here without my wife, Nicole. And I cannot thank you enough. Mr. Speaker, thank you, and I look forward to a great year.
Thank you very much. Representative Alzate, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to welcome a new colleague from the city of Pawtucket. My new colleague is Jennifer Stewart, taking over for District 59. She is joined here today by her husband, Ben Evans, her mother, Rose, and volunteers from her campaign, including students from Moses Brown and Shea High School. So welcome, Jennifer. Super excited to be working on behalf of the people of the city of Pawtucket, continue to move it forward, and happy to be here as a sounding board and anything that you need. Welcome.
Representative Felix, please. Representative Felix, microphone, please. Try again.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
I want to make two announcements, if I may, or two introductions, if I may. First and foremost, I want to welcome to the House one of our newest colleagues, Cherie Cruz from Pawtucket, who's doing District 58. Cherie is a passionate community advocate and has worked tirelessly on so many issues, including an issue that's very special to me, which is criminal justice reform. And I'm really looking forward to partnering with you and doing amazing things for our state. So I'm really grateful that you're here. So congratulations. And the second introduction that I would like to do is to embarrass my family members. And that is to my in-laws were here earlier, Donald and Elena Kowalski, so thank you for coming. My husband, Greg Kowalski, is here with me. And then my twin sister, Gina, who people thought that I was her when I first walked in. And then who knows, maybe I'll send her in and you guys will never know the difference. But thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you. Representative Carter, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Julie, for your introduction. I appreciate it. I just wanted to thank you all for today and thank all of my volunteers and all of the people that couldn't be here today. And thank you to my family. It was an incredible sacrifice to canvass every single Saturday, every single Sunday, every single postcard that we wrote, every phone call we made, every text message that was sent. It was all important. And I especially want to thank my cheesy girl talk, my Exeter moms. They've been texting me screenshots of what I look like. You know, you look so serious, and taking pictures of the TV. So I want to thank all of my friends at home for their support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Representative Bia, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would be remiss if I don't our actual guest few points on education before will you join, Mr. Speaker? I saw work yesterday from Mayor Brett Smiley's speech. It was a serious impact on education. Pawtucket Mayor, serious impact on education. From the governor this morning, impact on education in our state. And from the speaker, impact on education in our state. As you all know, I'm an educator in the city of Providence. I'm a high school principal, been there for a while, so my passion is education. So at the same time, I do have some educators in this house that they have spent an entire career in education, and most especially in Providence, in our beloved city, which I loved. Ms. Gail D. Simone Taylor, she's one of the great educators I've ever worked with. Ms. Taylor, can you please stand? And her sister Mary, who also is retired, but also one of the greatest educators also in the city of Providence. And to the D. Simone family, Mr. Speaker, I've been knowing this family for over like 15 years. So again, thank you guys for showing up and answering. We're going to be here and work together in connection with the state of Providence and the people of the state of Rhode Island. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I would like to go to the clerk, please, for clarification.
Clarification is, Speaker, there was a technical error in the original vote count, and the original vote count should have been Shekarchi 63, Chippendale 8.
Thank you. Leader Blazajewski moves that the House adjourn, seconded by Leader Chippendale. Leader Chippendale seconding adjournment. All those in favor, please stand for a moment of silence. The House is adjourned. Thank you. And just for everyone's edification, there is a reception upstairs on the third floor. There's a reception upstairs on the third floor. Thank you.